Have you ever felt like a fake? Or a phony? Or like you were just putting on a show? Have you ever heard the term imposter syndrome? If so, this one might be just for you. Hey friends! Today I'm going to give you 3 tips to decrease your imposter syndrome. But first, let's talk about what it is. So imposter syndrome is this feeling that you're kind of a fake or a phony, or that the information you have, other people know better, or can do the job better. So imposter syndrome is totally normal and is common across lots and lots and lots of different fields. So I'm a mental health therapist. I too have felt imposter syndrome many times, right? But people all across the world feel imposter syndrome. Parents, doctors, lawyers, mechanics, people who work on computers, like your IT people. Many people have felt imposter syndrome. And so it's just really the feeling that like you know how to do something, but there's probably people that know how to do it better. Did you know Maya Angelou and Albert Einstein both had imposter syndrome and made comments about feeling this throughout their careers? It's true. So we're going to go and touch on 3 different techniques to reduce your imposter syndrome. We'll go from 3 to 1, so make sure you stay tuned until the end to hear all of them. So the third one is research it. Sorry guys, I have notes right here to stay on track. The third one is to research it, right? So if you haven't heard the term imposter syndrome, or if you've heard it but just haven't quite understood or gotten a grasp of what it is, start researching it. Because I bet if you haven't looked at it before, you'll be able to kind of go like, aha, I have felt that before. It's nice to have a name to it. So make sure you're researching it and really getting a good grasp of what it is. The second one, number 2, talk about it. So when we say things out loud, it helps us to process and it helps us to work through it. And I would be willing to bet if you go to somebody that's in the same career field as you and you say, hey, look, I've had these feelings of like, I know how to do this job, but I don't think I know how to do it well enough. Or I think there's other people who might know this job better than me. Or I feel like I'm just not doing it right, or I don't know it all. I bet the other person's gonna say, interesting, me too. Because we all have felt it, right? And so just kind of a personal story here is I am a mental health therapist, and it is so easy to think like, oh, that person's a mental health therapist, they must have it together. No way. Or thoughts that I've had is I might have a session where somebody's struggling with, let's just say, a marriage, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have struggled in that department before too. Like, just because I'm a therapist, does that mean I wear a cape and I'm like excluded from being human? No, not at all, but it's so easy to feel like that sometimes. So then I like walk my little legs down to my good friend's office and I'm like, hey girl, hey, so I'm struggling because I just had a session where this person was not nice to her husband. And I was just not nice to my husband. And my sweet little therapist friend is gonna be like, girl, me too. I've done the same, because we're human. So there's such a peace and such a healing of just talking about it. And the number 1 way that we can defeat or at least kind of like put ourselves in check of this imposter syndrome is know that the reason why you are fabulous at what you do is probably not because you have the most knowledge and probably not because you had more schooling than everybody else. It could be, I don't know, maybe. Those 2 things might make you really great and phenomenal. But the thing that makes you great and phenomenal at your job is because it's you that's doing it. So for example, let's rewind. So there are tons of therapists who have far more knowledge, far more education, and far more experience than I do. Absolutely. And I like totally commend them for their work, right? But the reason why people come to me and the reason why I'm different is because I'm me and I'm unique. And so line me up with the other therapists that have the same exact experience, the same exact knowledge as me, and the same exact education. And each of us are going to get picked by different people because we're us. And because we as unique beings attract other unique beings that are like us. So I do therapy with mommies that are in the thick of mommyhood. That's one of my like niches, right? There are lots of therapists that do therapy for mommies in the thick of mommyhood who are just trying to survive and continue to find themselves or refine themselves after having kids. That doesn't mean I'm out of job or they're out of job because there's more than one of us. We are all unique. We bring something new to the table, right? So imposter syndrome, remind yourself that it's not about what you know, who you know, how you know it, how well you know it, how many clients you've seen, how many cars you've fixed, how many lawns you've mowed, how many chemical applications you've done, or how many brows you've waxed, right? There's more to it, and the most magnificent piece of it is you. So hang in there, friends. Make sure you're researching it, talking about it, and at the very grace of it all, you are being you, because that's what makes you important and different. Bye, guys.